In the last few episodes, we discussed at length the characteristics of the true master. The true master is omniscient. He is the supreme well-wisher of mankind. He is the fulfiller of instincts. However, how does it matter unless we accept the true master as our guru, as our guide? How does it matter unless we become his disciple? So the very next step, once we identify the true master, is to accept him as our guide and be his disciple. In discipleship, there is devotion. So once we accept him as our guide, we must ignite devotion within us for the true master. In devotion, there is faith, reliance, love, adherence, surrender. In this episode, let's start with faith. We must have faith in the true master. But in this world, faith seems to be a rarity. Today, man finds it difficult to have faith. In this context, I remember an incident that happened to me recently. On one fine morning, on my morning walk, I met my neighbor who happens to be a scientist. Both of us decided to continue on the morning walk together. As we started walking, a conversation started between both of us. My scientist friend told me, "Surya, I believe that you are a spiritual person, but you know what? Spiritual people rely on faith to a great extent. But us scientists do not rely on faith. We rely on evidence, logic. We need to be convinced about something before we accept it. We do not rely on faith like you guys." I said, "Friend, I understand what you're saying. But can you remember your childhood when you went to the school for the first time? In the early days in your school, your teacher probably taught you alphabet. Do you remember that your teacher asked you to repeat the alphabet several times? Do you remember that he asked you to write the alphabet A, B, C, D, E many times? Did you ever ask him why you were repeating the alphabet? Why you were writing the alphabet again and again and again? Did you ever question that? Did you ever ask for logic? Did you ever ask for evidence as to how learning alphabet is going to help you? You didn't do any of that because you had faith in your teacher. You believed that he is your well-wisher. He knows what is right for you. You trusted him. You had faith in him. As you continued your studies in the class, a few weeks later, the teacher helped you learn that when you combine 3 letters from the alphabet, C, A, and T, it becomes cat, which is an animal. If you combine MANGO, it becomes mango, which is a fruit. You slowly learned how to use letters to form words, and how to use words to form sentences, how to write sentences to form paragraphs. But friend, if you had not had faith in your teacher that day, had you refused to learn, had you questioned why he is asking you to learn, you would have never learnt alphabet. You would have never learnt how to form words and sentences and paragraphs. You would have never progressed in your education. You would have never become an educated man. You would have never become a scientist. And you have become a scientist today because you had faith in the teacher one day, without logic, without evidence. If we could have faith in our teacher and believe that he is our well-wisher, can we not have faith in the true master who is the supreme well-wisher of mankind, who fulfills everybody according to our characteristics, who is the fulfiller of our instincts, who has solutions to all our problems? So Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra says, if there be no faith, how can there be vision? Work follows faith. As the faith, so the work. He again says, deep faith can do anything. He says, you may be a learned man, but if lacking in faith, surely you are no better than a gramophone record or an ox carrying a load of words. So, my dear friends, one of the important ingredients of devotion is faith. Lack of faith is the biggest obstacle on the path of devotion. Dear friends, in the next episode, we'll talk about love for the true master.